Welcome everyone to Dr. Tove's Corner. Welcome back to another episode of Scatter Yarn. In this session, we'll be discussing Jakpa Essentials Part 2. And I've got with me my very good friend, DJ El Pablo. How are you doing, DJ El Pablo?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. How are you doing yourself?
Well, not bad. We are alive, so
That's
we are
yeah,
okay.
exactly. No.
This time we're going to be continuing our conversation from the previous episode where we are discussing some qualities or characters that people need to survive a foreign land. If that's the best way to say it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the first time we talked about skills that they will need, or we said they should have skill, they need to have patience, they need to have tolerance, and you gave a list of 5 questions: what, how, where, and all of
Where,
that.
when,
Where,
who?
when, who they're going to stay with, the things they have to
Yeah.
consider. If you missed that episode, please, you can go back and have a look. Also, please make sure that you subscribe and follow DJ El Pablo's channels and follow our channel as well and subscribe. Right. This time we're going to change the conversation a bit. We'll talk about some of the positives-ish, that
Yeah.
positive skills that they will need to have. And in our previous conversation, you mentioned one word, resilience. Let's
Sure.
develop that a little bit more. You know, now resilience is basically being able to, I should say, being able to survive and stand back and hold your ground, regardless of, whatever is happening to you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like having some form of tolerance and going to a country that is not yours, you will need to have that tolerance. You need to have that resilience, that resistance. I always say this way, if in your own country you have good and bad people, there are also good and bad people out there.
Yeah.
Some of us,
Yeah.
the first experience we have with the outside world is through movies. So you watch a
Yeah.
movie, everything seems nice, everyone seems welcoming over there, but don't be so. That's not what you're going to
Love you so, my
experience
brother.
when you
It's a
get
different
there.
ball game when you're actually facing the reality. I mean, um, I had culture shock in my first 3 months of landing in the UK,
Mm-hmm.
and it almost led me to a very dark side because it was like really tough. And
Mm-hmm.
speaking of being resilient,
Yeah.
it takes people to help people to get to where they need to get to, right? So meeting
Yeah.
the right people and all that, which is part of the question I asked, like, who are you going to stay with? Or who are you
Yeah.
going to be with? Or who are you going to meet where you're going to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so most of the things that people go through, especially with this whole thing about resilience, all boils down to being able to shut out a lot of things when you
Yes.
get there
Yeah.
and stay focused. My brother-in-law would tell me, say, keep your eyes on the ball and just keep your
Exactly.
eyes on the ball and keep
Yeah.
going, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of that culture shock, you'll be surprised that your food smell. Bro, you didn't know that egusi soup was the worst thing that ever can ever happen. You didn't know that stockfish was a very, very terrible
Bro,
smell. You didn't know that
yeah,
crayfish was bad.
stockfish,
You
crayfish,
you didn't
yeah,
know
man,
ogbono was bad. You didn't know palm oil is
man,
bad. Like even your jollof rice that everyone's supposed to like, you didn't know that cooking
yeah,
jollof rice is going to be a problem.
yeah,
There's things
yes,
like
yeah.
that they are going to say and be like, what is wrong with these people?
What's that?
Yeah, there's one of
Yeah,
my flatmates. I was cooking egusi and okporoko at the time. I was boiling the okporoko to make it soft. And
yeah,
the guy is from Bulgaria. He walked into the room. He's a nice guy. Generally, he's a nice guy. But he walked into the
yeah.
kitchen and was holding his nose. I was like, sorry about the smell. It was like, well, people eat dead things. I'm like,
Ooh,
in my head, I'm like, everything people eat is dead. But okay, if that's
exactly.
if
The
that's what you
plants,
want to say, man.
oh, the apples and all that, they're all dead stuff, man.
Yeah, but yeah, it was mad. And another of my flatmates would just come whenever I'm cooking, she would just come into the kitchen like, what's that smell? Open all the window down. I'm like, I don't do that when you're cooking, but it's things
Yeah,
that we have to
yeah,
face. It's just like petty things like that. Yeah, you go to work,
yeah,
people pretending like you don't exist. You say hello to them, they don't even say hello back. That's terrible.
yeah,
Um, Sometimes there was a time I even made a phone call. We know about these virtual employees, right? They work for UK
yeah,
companies, but they don't live in the UK. So I made a phone
yeah, yeah.
call.
They live abroad, yeah.
Yeah, I made a phone call. I could hear from this guy's accent. Obviously, he's not British. He's probably somewhere from Europe, and I was saying, oh, I transferred money, but the money had not reached the account I was sending it to, and the guy was like, well, maybe the bank does not have electricity. I was like, what do you mean that a bank does not have electricity? I'm
Yeah.
just like, I lost it. I was shouting and screaming. The guy didn't care. He had said what he wanted to say. We ended the conversation. I was asking him, what's your name? He didn't want to tell me his name. Or just like, I was like, can you repeat what you said again? It's like, no, I've told you everything you need to know. I'm like, so there are things like this. You're going to
I
face
guess I guess he
a
sensed,
lot more. Yeah.
yeah, I guess he sensed your accent and wanted to belittle you. That was what he did.
Yeah.
That's why he said what he said. And it's called microaggression. So it's a
Yes.
slight jab,
Yeah,
racism.
yeah, that's it. I know that. I knew that's what he was saying, what he was doing, but I wanted to, give it back to him. And the first time I first experienced it is when you make a call and then people start pretending like they can't understand you. Sorry, can you repeat that? Or they'll say, oh, we can't hear you, the line is breaking. They can clearly
Oh,
understand what you're saying. But
it's clear as day, man. Like it's clear.
yeah, it's
When you hear
just
stuff like, oh, can you? There's someone that actually, okay, this one, we were out on the street and I was with someone and we were trying to have a conversation with the
mhm,
person, and the lady was like, she was bluntly saying she couldn't hear what we're saying. Just
mhm,
doing this and all that. And that's a jab. Like, that's a
yeah,
microaggression. And they will not ask you where you from. That's also microaggression. They
exactly.
ask you, oh, where you originally from,
Hmm.
when they ask you those kinds of questions. So yeah, those kinds of things are really, really, it takes, and that was part of what I had as a culture shock, because obviously we've seen it in the movies and all that, and you've seen that, oh, the life is good and everything is all
Yeah,
rosy and nice until you land and you have the first conversation and someone tells you, how is it that you speak so good English? And I'm like, am I supposed to be speaking a different accent, or am I supposed to be speaking Afrikaans as they
exactly.
expect?
And the funny thing is, like you said, sometimes when you just arrive, you just think, oh, it's yeah, they just want to know. They don't know. You
They're
answer
not
like
here.
an innocent person, but the
Yeah,
longer you stay, the longer you start picking up on these things that, hey, they're not being nice. They're not being nice. They're kind of slightly dissing you without actually
yeah,
dissing you, you
yeah.
know.
They're sending jabs, subtle jabs at you, like you'll be shocked at the and if you are in their circle over
Hmm.
time, you would understand that those things are deliberate. It's not
Yes.
like they're trying to patronize you or anything. Nah, it's
Exactly. It can
absolutely
even be
deliberate.
that when you're at work, they just start giving you all the worst kind of jobs to do. They just start pushing all the terrible things to you to do, and
Yeah.
they'll be getting, they'll be doing the good
The good
stuff that
ones.
gets praise.
Yeah.
Things like that. You just experience that. So you need resilience, man. You have to
So
go through all of that,
paying it forward,
better
right?
yourself, and get to where you want to get to. Some people may not experience it if you're lucky, but the
That's fine.
vast majority
That's
of
okay.
people are
Yeah.
going to experience it.
Yeah.
So resilience is key. And the next one I'm going to say is learn to be by yourself. For your mental health, I know you do a lot of mental health talk on your podcast.
So,
So,
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, for your
Yeah.
own mental health, you need to learn to be by yourself, especially if you don't have anyone abroad, you don't have like family. Sometimes you might have a friend in the same country, but you're in like different region, different states. You don't even see each other all the time. You realize
Mhm.
that sometimes you're just going to work or going to school and then you come back home, or you go to church and you come back home, and there is none of that little extra socialization, because like in the previous podcast we talked about, some people say my lifestyle is different from their lifestyle. Naturally, you're just going to start withdrawing and keeping to yourself. I remember I was scrolling through social media one time, and a radio DJ was asking these people, what do you mean you cannot make friends abroad? And the radio DJ could never understand it. He thinks that friendship is just going to say, hello, how are you? That's not friend. Brother, people can say, hello, how are you? They will give you their phone numbers, but you call them, they're not going to pick.
Yeah.
They
I
can be
agree with you
nice to you
totally.
today. They're not going to talk to you tomorrow. You
Let
know,
me tell you one thing about the culture. Sorry to cut you short. Let me tell you
no,
one
no,
thing
it's
about
all
the
right.
culture here in Canada. One of the things that I've noticed is, if you look at if you enter the circle of the people here, the locals, like not the
Mhm.
locals, but like the people, you understand that some of the things they do or the mannerisms that they show you are mannerisms they've been trained to show you,
Mm,
and they only show you what they want you to see.
mm,
For example, if you walk on the street, everybody's smiling at you.
mhm,
Unless you meet an African or someone who is from like the Caribbean, that you guys will know how you greet yourselves.
Yeah.
There's this head tilt we do. When you
Yeah.
tilt your head,
Yeah.
they know and they tilt their head and you're
Yeah.
greeted and
Yeah.
you've
The
moved.
black man nod, we call it.
Black man nod. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
The next one, the other one, merely they see you, the next thing they're smiling at you. They'll smile at you, but if you look at their faces, you know that that smile is rehearsed.
Yes.
Absolutely rehearsed. The only thing I knew back then when I came that everybody did was hold the door for everybody. So you're
Yeah.
coming out, you hold the door for someone and all that. But have you ever, has the door ever been slammed at you before?
Luckily for me, no, not yet.
The
Hopefully it
door has
never
been
does.
slammed at the door has been slammed at me before. I was like, what's wrong with this guy? Like, why? And he
Yeah.
just kept going. And the
Mm-hmm.
other one, you hold the door for them, they say thank you. Others, you hold the door and they just walk past.
Mm.
Right? So these are the things. Those mannerisms, those things that they do are all rehearsed.
Exactly.
From birth, they'll tell you smile all the time. Smile. When you see somebody smile, fake smile. My God. My God.
Yeah, I'm used to the fake smile now. I even do it back now. It's part of the culture now. We smile, but I know we are not friends. We are not friends. And the
Yeah.
sad thing is sometimes you will help people genuinely. They will tell you thank you to your face, but when it reach to, to go and give a nice review about you, they will not tell how you help them. They only remember
Yeah.
the things that you did
Yeah.
not do.
Most definitely.
So you have to learn to be by yourself. Am I saying you should stop helping people? Am I saying you should not be
Yeah.
nice to people? That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying you need to learn to be by yourself. You need to be able to accept, have that willpower to say, I'm just a nice person.
Yeah.
I don't care how you
Yeah.
treat me. I don't care what you do. I'm just going to be who I am. Because at the end of the
Exactly.
day,
Just be
we know
you.
we are nice. We are nice. We are nice people. They might make you feel that you're not a nice person, but you know that you're a nice person. Bro, I've worked in a place when I was in security. I worked in that pub for 2 years. But do you know for the first 3 months, the locals that came to that pub did not say anything to me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would say good morning, hello. They will not say anything back. They only started talking to me after 3 months because they knew, okay, this guy's going to stay here now. He's not going
Stay
anywhere.
where?
So they had no choice but
Yeah.
to start talking. But the things they say behind your back, when you hear it, you're like, really? I just smiled with you right now. But why are you
Yeah.
talking about me like that behind? It's just crazy, Those are some culture shocks that
Yeah.
you
I
might
mean,
see.
the job you did as a security,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the job you did as a security in a pub, it's a very, very risky job. It's
Mm-hmm.
a very risky job, especially for a black man.
Yeah.
It's risky.
You're right. But at the end of the day, that's kind of the jobs that we kind of have
Ah,
to do
yeah.
because there's glass ceilings and all of those things. We're not going to that today. We'll talk about that maybe on a different
In a
podcast.
different,
But
yeah, that's
yeah,
different,
yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, you're going to say something. So
Yeah, I was going to say like usually, and I was just going to actually say what you were going to say just now. Like that's the job that's open for the folks that just came in and all that. They
mhm.
tell you, oh, security job pays, and next thing, oh, you just need to get like a training
Mhm.
and how to de-escalate and all those kinds of things. And then I I've met a guy, a Nigerian guy,
Mhm.
where he was working as a security for a clinic during this COVID times and all that.
Mhm.
And he saw me, and obviously, and we as Nigerians, we know ourselves. Like
Yeah.
when we see ourselves, especially if, like you said, everybody's good, especially where we are from, we're all good people, right?
Yeah.
But if you meet a good Nigerian,
Mhm.
you will just know.
Yeah.
So the guy met me, greeted me. I'm like, that guy, how far? And he's like, we started talking. And next thing he's telling me, oh, connect me. Then I'm like, bro, if I see any opening, I'll let you know. Like, and we
Mhm.
became friends. Apparently, we figured out that we were attending the same church, right?
Mhm.
And then from there, we built that relationship. But he was a security guard. But
Mhm.
those people won't have that conversation with you, even if you're nice and smiling at them, just as you were just saying, right? So,
Exactly. Yeah, man. Guys, remember, like the video, follow the podcast, follow
oh,
Pablo's podcast as well, because we have similar kind of conversations around this and content that you might like. And that takes us to my next point. Before you travel, bring some money. Bring some money with you, please. Okay.
that's the part we did not talk about in that first one because
Yeah.
for me, I felt like when people hear that's the most important thing of all the travel you're going to make or migration is money,
Mm-hmm.
right? But some people, when they hear money, everybody just kind of slouches back in their
Yeah.
chairs and stuff. And it's very important that you have to have at least some.
I'll even take it to the most basic example that I have. When I was coming, luckily for me, I had friends that studied before me, and they were like, "Come with £1,000 at least," based on their experience. And
Mm.
I came with £1,000, but I didn't know even where to spend that money because when I got to the UK, I realized that all the clothing that I brought are not the same type of clothes that they are wearing
Yep.
over here. So
Yep.
naturally, as we are human beings, we're social beings. You don't want to be separate. And the funny thing is, no one even cares what you're wearing,
Yep.
but you just realize that look, what I'm wearing is different from what these people are
Nobody
wearing.
cares.
But nobody cares. So I went to,
Yeah.
I went to buy some clothing, but
Yeah.
I didn't know where to go. So I was buying jumpers for like 200, £300. I only bought 4 pieces of clothing for £800 the day I went to go and
Ooh.
shop. I didn't know where to spend the money. I'm not saying
Wow.
those are no good. They are very, very top quality clothing. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, they're very top quality, high quality. But
Yeah.
imagine that is all the
No,
money
yeah.
you had and you spend it on only four
Yeah.
items. Then I had to like call someone else. I'm like, look, is that how clothes is expensive in the UK? The guy was like, no, it's where you went to go and buy, my guy. He said, please go
Yes,
to
exactly.
Primark. He said, go to
Yeah.
Primark. And I went to Primark. Look, I bought like 3 bags full of Primark outfits for only £100 at the
Exactly. For
time.
that.
Yeah, £100. I
Exactly.
spent £800 on four pieces of clothing, £100
Well,
on 3 bags, lots of jeans, inner wear,
yeah.
sweaters and all of that stuff. So bring money, even if it's not for clothes. At least I always say to people, try to have at least 2 to 3 months rent.
What?
Yeah, I spoke to someone
Yeah.
that we both now not mentioned their name. The guy was saying, "No, I'm looking to come to the UK," and I said to him, "Guy, have 3 months rent," and he was like, "What do you mean have 3 months rent?" I say, "Look, I know people tell you when you get there, there is jobs. It's true. But before you get that job, it might take you a long period of time. So you need to be able to pay your rent. If you're just thinking, I'm going to, sell all my property and just travel, my guy, what if you don't get work as soon as you think you're going to get the job? So how are you going to pay
Yeah.
your rent? Because first
Yeah.
of all, when you're renting a house, you have to pay your rent and a deposit. So
Same here.
if you don't have
Same
the
here.
rent
So
and the
this called
deposit,
first and last.
exactly.
Yeah, they call it first and last month here. So
Yeah.
you pay rent and they pay. So it's like you have to have your, so like you said, you need to have 2 to 3 months rent. So that's
Yeah.
like you have your first and last and one extra month
Exactly. So
just in case,
just in
you know.
case,
So
so bring some money here. And when you get here as well, please know that everybody, not everyone, some people back home, they don't care about what you're doing over there. They just think you're making money. In the previous episode, you talk about people converting money. So they just think, oh, if this person is making
yeah,
£200 or whatever, that means he's making 200K. You should have like 40K to give me now. You should have like 30K to give me now. But they don't know how you're doing here.
yeah,
So next point, learn how to say no. You will need to learn how to say no, my guy. It took me a long time to learn it, but saying no is good for your mental health. I'm telling
yeah.
you.
You can say no. Either you say no and risk the hate that you
Hmm.
get from it, or you
Yeah.
just say I don't have.
Yeah.
Easy,
But
right?
but that's the point I'm saying. You saying I don't
Yeah,
have, you saying no is all the same thing to them. Because
yeah.
at the end of the day, they don't
Oh
know
yeah,
how you're living. They cannot understand how you're living until they live it. Because
yeah,
all they're saying is just exchange rate. Dollar don't turn 1,200. Dollar don't. So if this guy give me that kind £10 like this, now 10K be that, at least he will get £10 to spare, or he will get $10 to spare. But they don't know how you're living. They don't know that you are even trying to save for your next month rent because the spare that you have, you need to add
it's
another
going.
spare to be able to survive, you know. So yeah,
Yeah,
please.
speaking of that, learning how to say no. A lot of people don't care, like you said, about
Mhm.
how you're getting money. All they want
Mhm.
is make I send you my account, make I send you my Azar. That's what they'll say. Make I send you my Azar. And I'm like, bro, it's tough out here. And it's because some people who have come have
Mhm.
actually created a myth
Mhm.
that once you come, you'll be balling.
Yeah.
There are some people I know, especially in this country, who came in as a result of like from other countries, like
Yeah.
that are going through some civil war things and all that.
Mhm.
And they came in as a result of asylum, seeking asylum and all that. They will
Yeah.
struggle. I met someone who told me she was paying school fees for her brother and her sister back home, but she's
Mhm.
struggling here,
Yeah.
struggling here. And
Mhm.
they don't care. The sister was misbehaving. I told her if you had to threaten your sister to stop misbehaving because this person is struggling. She now struggled and got money to buy a car, bought the
Mhm.
car, started doing food delivery, still to sponsor people back home.
Hmm.
So there are myths that have been created over time because people who have landed think they are balling. I read something on social media yesterday, literally like she said she went to a European country. She didn't
Mm-hmm.
mention the European country, but I guessed from the language she was saying, it was
Mm-hmm.
one of the European countries that speak Spanish.
Okay.
And then she was like, oh, she went there and all she went to do was to work in a farm.
Hmm.
But she was the first few days, for first few weeks, she was balling. She was wearing nice clothes. Like you said, you went there, you bought
Yeah.
jackets without knowing. She was wearing nice clothes, taking pictures in the city center and all of that.
Yeah.
And then when the deal was like when it really got deep, she went to
Yeah.
work in a farm and she got depressed. Nigerian mentality, I can be able to handle farm. But when the push comes to shove, you will
Yeah.
know that it is not as easy as you imagined.
Mm-mm.
I have I have helped someone at some point just to make an extra cash. I think it was $15 an hour or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he said we should help dig a fence.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously here there's a whole lot of stuff around um protecting your back. So health
Yeah.
and safety and stuff.
Yeah.
So we will not carry digger,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a digger that you use to dig for poles.
Yeah.
So you stand with it and you just kind of hold it like this, and then
Yeah.
just once you dig, you
Yeah.
press it and it digs and scoops out.
Yeah.
When you finish that thing, that back that you're trying to protect, oh, I couldn't climb stairs, but I
Yeah.
still got the $15 an hour, and I worked
Mm-hmm.
for about 5 hours, 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't see it as it's good money because
No.
obviously from experience even in the UK,
Yeah.
that's not that's not
No,
good
that's
money.
not
Right?
money.
So
And also,
yeah,
yeah, you will do all those
I,
job finish. You will spend that money to buy medicine. You do all those work finish. You spend money to buy medicine.
bro, like
You
half of
know.
it is going to medicine, food. It's
Yeah.
not. It can't even pay bills.
At all.
But there's someone out there who think that maybe as you because you're here, yes, quite right. The life here is good, but then the standard of living is high.
Exactly.
So
And it's those people that go back December that is deceiving these people. All those ones that are forming dirty December, they're the ones that are deceiving these people. You know, they will work the whole year. They will save only maybe like 300, 400 pounds for that December, you know,
yeah,
just to go
only for
and
that
ball.
year, bro.
Only
Only
for
for
that. They
that
will
year.
go there, they
Their
will
flight
ball
is
out.
booked though.
Yeah.
Their flight to and fro is booked though. Maybe we got like $700 flight.
Yeah.
Is booked. But they have just that 400,
Yeah.
400 pounds, like you said.
They will go
Or
and
maybe
stay in a
for here
hotel.
over here, maybe like 1,000 pounds. If
Yeah.
you're not gonna stay in a hotel.
Stay
I'll be
hotel,
paying.
hire a car. And they only stay for 5 days anyway, so they can blow it and then they'll
Yeah,
come back to start borrowing money. Bros, I bet if you borrowing money, where you know, but when I collect salary for month, then I'll give you back. There's so many stories
that's
like
the
that.
thing.
There are so many stories like that. So please don't fall for the hype. Don't fall for everything that you see. You know, learn to be by yourself,
There's
save
so
your
much.
money,
Yeah,
learn to say no. At the end of the day, you're by yourself. You are working, you're working, you're working. All the people that are going to be asking you for money, if you die tomorrow, some of them may not even cry. They will go on to the next person
they
that's
will
going to
continue.
give
They will
them
ask
money.
someone else.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know, I have an example. A
yeah.
friend, this guy, we went to uni together. He asked me for money at the time. I was planning my wedding at the time. So I was like, look, I'm getting married. I need my money for my wedding. The guy didn't even say happy married life to me on the wedding day. But the next day, the question this
Yeah,
guy
asked you
asked
again.
me, the question this guy asked me was not even how are you, anything. It was just like, you don't do the wedding. So meaning that so after I've done the wedding now, I can just start coming to give him money. I'm like, since that day, no. The guy
Yeah,
messages me now, I don't even respond. He knows I see it, but I just don't respond anymore because I've said no to the guy, but he never understands no. That's what I'm saying. You saying no or you saying I don't have, they don't understand, you know, they don't understand that I don't have. All they all know is if you give me £20 or if you give me $20, if I convert them, I'm fine. And the funny thing is,
oh, yeah.
sometimes they don't even ask you the money for something urgent. They ask you, or may I just use that ball this weekend? So I should work hard. I should take racism. I should take
So
abuse
that you can blow
so
it.
that you will go and ball. Me, I'm not balling my money, but you want to go and ball with my money. That's it, man.
Yeah, like and there's something I learned over time. Like this one, like even my mom used to advise me. Once you give someone. Have you not noticed that you give someone once,
Mm-hmm.
first time, and you give again, maybe second time, they'll come back again and they'll keep coming and keep coming and keep coming.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, one has to know when to stop or know
Yeah.
when to say no
Yeah.
and know when to say, okay, I can't, like I don't have,
Yeah.
right? When I have, if I'm generous enough, maybe I
Yes.
can spare
Exactly.
you.
Yeah,
There's
that's what
one
I'm
guy,
saying. No, no,
there's
finish
one
it
guy
off.
that met me, I think a few days ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have some projects that I always set out to do in the year. And if I've not done the project, I'm not giving anybody anything. So the guy came to me, I was like, oh, it's red. I said, bro, it's also red here. He said, I can't believe it. Yes, my brother, the hustle is real. We are working hard to try to meet up with our targets, right? And then along the line, there was an extra, maybe like 5K, 5,000 naira or something, or 10,000. I was like, okay, send me a car. I think I said 7K. And I was like, just, and he was so happy because the previous year, around December, I think I bought him something, like a Christmas gift. He's a boy that actually worked with me when I was DJing in Nigeria. So I was like, every year at least I'll give him something. But this year, it didn't turn out as I would expect. But I ended up kind of giving him something. But the bottom line is this. People have kind of created this mentality that once you have landed, you are balling.
Yeah.
Not knowing that you will go, especially those working in care. Oh my God. Especially in the UK. You will go and suffer and get this money, break your back. There was 1 week I worked 47 hours for the first time in my life, 10 years ago.
Wow.
Suffer, finish. Then I'll come back and someone come and tell me, I think I go ball this weekend. Bro, I don't have a balling, please.
Yeah. And first of all, guys, if you have any comments, please, you feel free to leave them in the comment section. You can leave it on our socials. We're going to discuss them in a future show. I'm going to be collecting some of those interesting thoughts, and me and DJ El Pablo and maybe someone else we'll try to delve into them and like this video as well. I was just going to say the point here is I'm not saying don't give people money, don't give people that are struggling money. If you can and you can afford to do it, please do it. First of all, afford. I don't like the word afford because I've realized that afford is for broke people. A rich person does not say afford. They just go and do it. It's the rest of us that use the word afford. So if you can afford to do it, please do. But if you can't afford it, learn to say no. If they don't understand, if they think you're a bad person, it is what it is, my guy. Because at the end of the day, you have to look out for number one. And I think what kind of changed my mentality a little bit on this is there's a co-worker of mine, very, very nice guy. Everyone liked him. And the guy passed away. Like, if not for us, his colleagues that tried to organize a memorial for this guy, no one in the management cared. They're already looking for replacement.
And they'll recruit someone else. So, like, they'll put his position out.
Yeah. So, see, live your life. Do what you can. What you cannot, don't kill yourself, my guy. That's what I'm going to say. Or my girls, or my people. It's not like guys are listening. So, everyone, please do what you can. Do you have any other advice, DJ or Pablo?
Yeah, pretty much. Like you've pretty much said about the same thing. Like one of the very important ones that you said at the beginning was learn to be by yourself. I learned this the hard way, and I've learned that you have to be your own company. Like you have to learn to enjoy your own company.
Yeah.
What are the things that you love to do? I mean, it was being by myself. At one point, I think I was preparing for an exam when the idea of a podcast came in, and I started to write. It was actually, in fact, the idea was to write a book. And then as I was writing, it was now expanding. I was like, nah, man, I can't keep this, I have to be able to speak, right?
Yeah.
So I started to, use my talents however I could. So learn to enjoy your own company. What can you do while you're on your own? I remember then we used to go look for all those free streaming sites for movies and stuff, and I would spend hours and hours watching movies, or I used to be even like I used to do other things, but then how can I build on my creativity? How can I used to make beats back in the day just to be able to learn to enjoy my own company, and over time I built resilience. Right, just like you said. And then when you build resilience, there's nothing anybody can tell you.
Exactly.
There's no amount of negative or pessimistic conversation that you have that will push you off the track or off the trail or off the path where you're supposed to be on. Like, I remember back then, I wasn't perturbed by people buying cars. When people land, especially in the UK, the first month, you talked about having £1,000, £1,000, and then you land with that £1,000, and then you get like a car that has 6 users, and it's like $400, and you're like, okay, I'm good, I'm balling, I have a car. I wasn't perturbed by that. My dad gave me £2,000 and said, that's your money. So work out your salvation with fear and trembling, right? And then I think pounds was like $250, 250 naira. to a
Yeah.
pound. And then what did I do? I landed. I was telling my dad I was going to look for a means of transportation. My dad said use Uber. I said, sir, Uber in this country. I went to city center. I was living in Cambridge then. I went to city center. I went there and I bought a bike for $60, mountain bike.
Yeah.
And that was what I used to move around the city. My dad was like, why are you buying a bike? I was like, Dad, don't worry. I'm
Yeah.
the one here. Like,
Exactly.
I'm the one experiencing it. And from my house to school, to most
Yeah.
probably church,
Yeah.
and maybe to the shopping center and down the road, 10 minutes apart everywhere. Then buy your bike lock your bike. And was not perturbed by anybody
Yeah.
having cars. And people came, they bought cars. You see
Yeah.
someone come and buy a car for $200, 9 users,
Yeah.
right? I was not perturbed by that.
Nah.
Most important thing is learn to be by yourself.
Yeah.
Learn to cut your coat according to your cloth.
Very important.
Like you said, you
Yeah.
mentioned one thing which people don't do. Primark. Now I'll shock you. The Primark equivalent in Canada
Yeah.
is not as quality as Primark.
Well, to be
I'm
fair, I
telling
think
you.
why I changed my mind about Primark as well at the time is a lot of Europeans all go to Primark. Some people travel to UK to come and buy
Just
Primark
to
to
buy
go
Primark.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
they will
it's
load their boxes and load everything. And the truth is, with Primark, you need to know what you're looking for and you know the quality of what you want to buy.
exactly.
It's not just going there and just packing it, because you pack everything 3 months, you're coming back again. Because
Yeah,
that's why those clothes were made. But there are
exactly.
some jackets and some stuff that I bought in Primark that I still use to this day.
Yeah.
Because like at that time, it was what I needed. Then if I want to now go, you now start going up.
Exactly.
H&M
When you get more
and,
comfortable, you go up and
yeah.
you can buy things
Well,
out.
if you're starting, $15 for a hoodie is not
Yeah.
bad.
My
15
brother,
pounds for a hoodie or £5, £10 for a hoodie is not bad at all.
nobody even knows because there's no big design.
Oh, the label is
Rock
inside. It's not
exactly. Rock your thing, be comfortable and be happy.
it's inside.
We've seen
Yeah.
different videos on social media on people that have studied abroad or migrated abroad, and they're saying they're depressed, and nobody on the other side of the continent understand. But I understand. I'm
Yeah.
sure you understand. They'll
Oh,
be like,
yeah.
oh, you're in a place where you they work, you feel chop, you feel yeah, my guy. It's not only about that. So, like I said,
Not
yeah,
about that
resilience
too.
is important, patience is important, skill is important. Learn to be by yourself. The what, how, rules, they're also very important.
Just to chip this in, even the so-called internet that we have, it gets tiring sometimes.
Yeah.
It gets tiring. Constant light as well. It get because there are days you wake up like, what am I going to do with this light? So it's now where you now have to use your creativity to build on what you already have. So it's been a great pleasure to have these kinds of conversations
Yeah,
with
I
you.
can say that you still have more to say. Maybe we'll create another series again where we'll be discussing different
Bro, I
things
like that.
about Jakpa. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. I'm
Right.
going to leave DJ El Pablo's podcast in the description. Please like his channel, follow his podcast. Do you have a YouTube channel, by the way?
Yes, I do. I have a YouTube channel where I post vlogs and diaries about like, because I'm also a DJ here in
Okay.
Canada. So you want to see behind the scenes, you want to see my story, my journey with DJing in a foreign land.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good place to start. And also I do some like travel vlogs on the
Okay.
same YouTube channel. So you see some of the places I've visited here in Canada
Yeah.
and also the UK, because I was in the UK sometime this year. So you'll
Okay.
see those videos there and all
And
that.
what
So
was the channel called?
DJ Pablo. The
DJ
DJ
El
Pablo.
Pablo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Please subscribe to DJ Pablo to see different places in Canada. Maybe if you want to go to Canada, if you want to go to UK, you can see
Oh, yeah.
different sites. All right. This has been Scatteryan Podcast. Please like the video, subscribe to us, follow the channel, leave your comments on the YouTube comment section. And if you're listening via audio podcast, please leave via our socials. We are going to discuss some interesting ones at a future show. Thank you very much. On to the next episode. Please use your brain. SCFR.